Welcome to History Explained, where we illuminate the past to better understand our present. I'm your guide for this weekly dose of 7 days under 7 minutes. Today is Sunday, June 1st, 2025. As we do every Saturday, we step into the battlefield of the past to explore military history, the conflicts, strategies, and sacrifices that have shaped the course of nations. This week, from May 26th to June 1st, we reflect on global military commemorations, strategic shifts, and historical parallels that continue to resonate. We begin in the United States, where Memorial Day was observed on May 27th. Across the country, ceremonies honored those who died in military service, from Civil War soldiers to the fallen of modern conflicts. At Arlington National Cemetery, President Biden led tributes, while smaller towns held parades, rifle salutes, and flag plantings. It was more than remembrance, it was a national reaffirmation of the cost of freedom, a tradition dating back to the post-Civil War era when the wounds of a divided nation were still raw. In Japan, a subtle but significant moment occurred as discussions emerged around revising Article 9 of the Constitution, a clause that renounces war and bans Japan from maintaining a traditional military. With regional tensions rising, especially following North Korea's latest satellite launch on May 27, the debate reflects growing support for a stronger self-defense force. These developments echo Japan's long-standing post-war identity struggle, caught between pacifism and pressure for deterrence in an unstable East Asia. Meanwhile, on May 30th, South Korea and the United States conducted joint military drills in response to the North's satellite launch. The exercises included F-35 fighter jets and naval assets simulating counterattack scenarios. While routine, this year's iteration felt more urgent, highlighting the enduring legacy of the Korean War armistice, still unresolved, and the ever-present risk of miscalculation on a nuclear-armed peninsula. In Ukraine, combat continued around the Eastern Front, particularly in Donetsk and Kharkiv regions. This week, international observers noted intensified Russian air assaults and Ukrainian counter-battery operations. Though the front lines shifted only slightly, the real story lies in the evolving use of drone swarms and electronic warfare. The war is becoming a proving ground for next-generation combat, much like the Spanish Civil War previewed tactics later seen in World War II. Back in the US, May 31st marked the 82nd anniversary of the Battle of Midway, one of the most decisive naval battles in World War II. While not widely covered in headlines, military historians and veterans groups held digital symposiums and museum events to remember the battle that turned the tide in the Pacific theater. Midway reminds us that strategy, intelligence, and timing can decisively shift the balance of power, even against overwhelming odds. France also marked the 80th anniversary of Charles de Gaulle's return to power in 1945, with ceremonies honoring the Free French forces. De Gaulle's leadership in exile and later, his efforts to rebuild a fractured France, have become central to the nation's military and political mythology. His legacy is a reminder that military resistance can be a foundation for national rebirth. Finally, in Gaza and southern Lebanon, ceasefire talks remain fragile after weeks of renewed clashes between Israeli forces and militant groups. While no new strikes were reported this week, the situation remains volatile. These modern skirmishes echo long-standing territorial disputes and asymmetric warfare strategies that define much of 21st century conflict, where clear victories are rare, and civilian lives are caught in the crossfire. From ceremonial salutes to shifting alliances, from historical battles to current threats, this week in military history reveals that the past is never far from the present. Warfare may evolve in tools and tactics, but its human cost, strategic stakes, and moral dilemmas remain constant. Thank you for joining us for this exploration of military history. If you found this perspective valuable, subscribe and share the episode with those who value strategy, remembrance, and historical clarity. Up next, our Sunday episode, where we highlight the innovations and inventions that continue to change our world. Until then, I'm your guide for History Explained, where understanding yesterday is the key to navigating tomorrow.